AB, it's that feeling when you are falling in love with yourself. Who can enjoy time by themselves? With or without music, you know, that's the thing. Do you like when you're alone by yourself, just you? If not, there's a good reason for that, I'm sure. It's probably because it's very difficult to hear your, how do you say, to just hear your thoughts and not really be attached to them, you know, not think about what happened 10 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, a month ago, 2 days ago, right? Do not think that that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying time alone with yourself, with your thoughts, right? I mean time alone with who you truly are, like that deep essence that dwells within you, no matter where you are, no matter where you go, no matter who you see. It's always there. And it never goes anywhere, right? Your attention, that's the thing. Your attention is the only thing that sways and moves, right? That attention is the only thing that determines how we see the world. Where we place it, where we place our intention determines how we see the world. Just think about it. When we place our attention on a particular thing, our brains do their due diligence. The mind, it does its due diligence, and it goes searching through all the records and all the history of what memories have been stored within the heart and the mind, right? So as the heart and the mind go searching for all of these like thoughts and these like experiences, that is what ends up determining our perception of this thing we've placed our attention on. So if we remove our attention from that particular thing, then the heart and the mind go to work on whatever else our attention is placed onto next. You see? So it is simple. It is simple to fall in love with yourself when you can be able to live without those thoughts having control over you. And determining where you go, what you do, what you say, who you're friends with, who you don't like. You see, the mind, it just wants to be active. We gave it a, I mean, I'm going to be preaching this until the day I die because, wow, when I learned this, it changed absolutely everything about me. Everything about me, seriously. Everything about me has changed. Ever since I learned this one thing. This one thing, you like that? That's funny. This one thing, okay, that... I'll get there. This one thing that life, it's simple, right? It's simple. It becomes simple when you apply this one thing to every aspect of you. Okay? Everything you've ever heard of, if you want things to change, you have to change first. Right? If you want the outside to change, you have to change inside. How many times have you heard that by now? I mean, this is some new age stuff, right? But it's really interesting because you've heard it 100 times. And yet, continuously, the mind speaks, you listen, right? The mind speaks and we listen. We just go with it. We just say, okay, that's what you said to do. I guess so, let's go. Within milliseconds, that happens. When I'm going to be preaching this until I pass on. When your ability to change your reactions by observing what the heart and what the mind are doing in any situation, and when any thought comes up, your ability to observe that, okay, from a third-party perspective, and I've been saying this since I was young, it's crazy, from a third-party perspective, when you're able to change that from a third-party perspective, to observe that, to observe that from a third-party perspective, complete joy fills you and weight off the shoulders. You have to keep your heart open. Okay? Release the weight from your shoulders by observing your thoughts and your heart rate increase when something you don't like happens, or when a thought that you don't like passes, or even when a thought you do like passes, right? This goes both ways. We have to address and observe our minds from the seat of our actual selves in order to see what is going on and how to, and when you're observing it, your reaction time becomes lengthier, longer. So when something happens, right, a thought comes up that you don't like. Example, a thought comes up, you don't like it. You know, maybe you have an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend, or maybe someone at work you don't like, right? And the thought of them just boop, pops in your mind for whatever reason. It could be anything. Boop, in your mind now. Okay, you're thinking about this. You're not happy. You're upset. Why am I smiling? You're upset. So your mind starts racing. Oh, I can't believe they did that to me. Oh my God. I'm so glad we're not together anymore. Wow. Or the person at work, them, you know, forget about them. Next time I go to work, I'd rather blah, blah, blah. Whatever your mind is talking about. Instead of going with that track and just following it, you're following its lead. You're going where it's directing you to go. Instead of doing that, what you do is you observe what's happening. It's going to feel strange when you first start to do this, because this is acknowledging that you are not those thoughts. Okay, that's the first step that you're going to go through, is acknowledging you're not the thoughts. So as you're acknowledging it and trying to observe it at the same time, it's going to feel a little strange. Okay, give yourself a break. But as you continue to do it, you can do this at every point in the day, literally every single second of the day. There's a point in time where you can practice this, unless everything is, unless you've already met a good state of being, okay? Unless you're already in a good state of being, right? But even then, things will happen very quickly. Within a minute or two, watch those thoughts happen. Watch, just watch, okay? So you're going to see that it feels strange. It's going to feel almost as if you have detached from something and you are going through a separation, okay? It may also feel like you have some sorts of tingling sensations, even in your physical body. Same thing in your brain. Your brain may even start to tingle a little bit. You may feel, you know, slight, just little feelings, right? Just watch out for those. They're fine. Just observe those too. Okay, all practice, all practice. Now, as you continue to separate from that piece of you, okay, from that ego self that's always thinking, talking, bringing up things, putting down things. It's just always doing its thing. You begin to have your own sense of self, and better yet, your own sense of self-worth. How about that? You will have your own sense of self-worth. You will start to question those thoughts. You will start to question the motive behind those thoughts, but don't do it. You can. It won't hurt you, but it will just start another track and train of thinking, okay? So keep that in mind. So I'm going to end it here. This was fun. I had a really good time. Let's push play. 8. My video might get taken down for this, but whatever. West side. Baby, I'll be right there.